Welcome to Pandesal Forum here at 83-year-old Kamuning Bakery Cafe. We have very important, distinguished guests. Aside from one of the best senators in the Philippines, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, welcome.
How do I call you?
Win Gatchalian, Sherwin. Win. He has a very good nickname, Win. You win always election. And also we have beside Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, aside from being outstanding senator, he used to be mayor of Valenzuela City, transformed the city into one of the most progressive cities, Valenzuela. And Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is also chairman of the Ways and Means Committee of the Philippine Senate, also chairman of Basic Education Committee, plus others. Our next guest is former chairman of the Indonesian Senate, Mr. Irman Guzman. Yes, he is now chief patron of the Minangkabau Foundation and a top businessman. He is also a friend of the Indonesian Defense Minister. I researched internet, who Mr. Prabowo Subianto, who last week your president mentioned as possible he will endorse as next president. Mr. Irman Guzman also is former speaker of the Regional Representative Council, DPD of Indonesia, and he became the first Indonesian parliamentary leader to be elected for 2 consecutive terms. And then on his right is Mr. Pitan Daslani, geopolitics and politics expert of Indonesia, who has worked with 4 Indonesian Senate chairmen. Welcome to everyone. I'd like to invite each of our speakers to give an opening statement. Anything you want to talk about Philippines, ASEAN, anything about what's happening with politics. Senator Win Gatchalian. Mr. Irman Guzman for his opening statement. How is Indonesia and Philippines? And you are the host of the G20 summit this coming week also.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Mr. Wilson, we know that he's the very prominent journalist
entrepreneur,
and also entrepreneur. I'm delighted you invite me to the very old and memorable bakery. Yeah, it's a very, once I come in, I have the good feelings of this, what we call it, cafeteria. Yeah. Senator Win, because if you see my name, Guzman, and maybe people think this, I'm also Filipinos. If I don't wear my batik with my name, we are the same, The Sokran are also maybe from Mindanao. Even still Filipinos. Therefore, I decided today I wear batik to show that, even we are brothers, but we are close neighboring countries. Second one is, of course, I thank you to the organizing committee to invite me to the beautiful land. My last visit is about 8 years ago. I see Manila is rapidly changing, very progress. Yeah, of course, we can read in newspaper all the news, yeah, how for the last 5 or 6 years, your growth of economy maybe above 6 to 7%, yeah, is considered one of the highest economic growth in the region. And as well as also Indonesia, yeah, among the other ASEAN countries, we also have enjoy the 5-6% of economic growth, where in the world, the average of the economic growth below than that. And of course today, as what Mr. Wilson said, also Mr. Win, yeah, this is very good name, you know. I believe you will be, if you run again, you know, you will win again, Win, because you always win. Yes, you just won. The name is also, you know, what do you call it? Huh? The keberuntungan, we call it, yeah? Fortune. The fortune, yeah. Second one, as what Senator Win said, yeah, for the last 3 days, our leaders has finished the summit in Cambodia. We hope that the result of the summit in ASEAN can be bring it to Bali together, where the Indonesian is the host starting tomorrow. Yeah, this is the very difficult situation in the world because of the war. Also, the difficult of the economic condition. Yeah, because of the crisis impact. Yeah, from the war what happened in Russia and Ukraine. No matter effect, yeah, especially oil pricing, mineral, as I know that Filipinos also have difficulty to get some coal because of you don't produce enough coal to fit the you know the electricity and what so on. Therefore, when I come here, when I have the courtesy call with the acting chief of army, and we are delighted that the army of the army of the Filipinos also bought some ship, yeah, from our company in Indonesia, Surabaya, and they are happy. They are going to order more, Mr. Wilson. This is the what we call it, the strengthening cooperation among the ASEAN. Also, I met the Business Federation, Chinese, Filipinos, and also I give the keynote speech in the business forum. Yeah, I think there are so many eagerness, yeah, from the businessmen to know more about Indonesia. Yeah, after I try to explain to them the relationship between Indonesia and Filipino, it seems like this, Wilson, I can say. Maybe Papitan can translate well to me. Because we are so close, so many cultural the same. What else? Yeah, maybe cultural, we are the same, most of the custom. And then we forgot. Yeah, we remember our friend far away, but we forgot our neighboring just next to us. I see so many potential that we can work together. For example, like I'm receiving the delegation from Mindanao, where they have a lot of land, you know, not yet cultivated, where Indonesia, we are the largest oil palm producer in the world. Where we enjoy the price today is $1,200, where the cost not more than $400. This is reasonable. And if we can cooperate this with the brother in Filipinos, we develop let's say 100,000. His investment is about $1 billion. Yeah, within 4 years, we can enjoy, you know, the result of the CPO. This is one thing I can see. Yeah, and also in the coal mining. If we are not the largest producer coal in the world, maybe we are one of the top producer. Yeah, I mean, this is the very simple one, but I don't know what is the problem here. I was told by the deputy speaker, Mr. Marcoleta. I met him on Friday afternoon, even that not session. Yeah, probably this is, one or two, or of course, other thing, let's say in toll road, for the last 8 years, Indonesia has successfully built more than 3,500 kilometer highway. Let's say in Luzon Island, also like in Java Island, where the most populated people live in Indonesia, the most dynamic island, where Jakarta today, where I live there, for the last 8 years we can connect, from west to the east, right? From west part of the east is about 1,200 kilometer, and also the other Sumatra Island, which is 3.5 times bigger than Java, we almost done 60%. I think this is also the successfully learning that we can also adopt it here, and how we structure the funding and so on. But this is all funding by the private sector driven. Yeah? Yeah? The way how we do it, private sector and the funding, like the Middle East, we can use the Islamic financing, where they are the windfall of the profit that they don't want to put it into the treasury bond. They would like to invest it to the place that can give the good return. That's why after I come back tonight to Jakarta, we make good team, doing in plantation, do some export coal, and also in the investment in infrastructure in this country. This is what I can say for the beginning, Mr. Wilson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Irman Guzman. Pitan Daslani, how is Indonesia, Philippines, and the G20 summit starting tomorrow?
All right. Thank you, Wilson. When Jane told me that we were going to see you in a news conference, I immediately look at the name. Who are we going to meet? Hello? Yeah. Who are we going to meet? And she said, Wilson Lee Flores. I said, wait a minute. Flores is the island where I come from. So he must have come from me.
Your island.
So I must come.
Wow.
You know?
Yes, Flores. Okay.
You know how close we are? You take your name from my island.
Wow. Yes, we should go there. We should go to your hometown.
Yeah. So I said, okay, let's go. Let's go and see our friends. I am a journalist by default. Before I joined the Senate of Indonesia, I used to work for Radio Netherlands, Radio Deutsche Welle Germany, Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper in Japan, Jakarta Post Daily, Metro TV television. So when a journalist is going to be our host, I have no reason to say no. And I said, okay, let me go come to see him, and good, because it looks like I'm coming home to my own island, coming to his family name here. So you must go to my island.
I will.
Never die before you go there. Now, for my friends from the press, actually, let me give a little bit more introduction about the chairman. Mr. Irman Guzman is actually the founder of Indonesia Senate. He was vice chairman in 2004 to 2009, and then he took over as chairman. And when he was chairman until 2016. When he was chairman, he was bigger the institution he was leading. The Indonesian Senate was just like his name. Because he was the founder, he was the most knowledgeable leader to lead the Senate. And now he's back in business, and hopefully, God willing, he will return to politics 2024. And he, as Mr. Wilson pointed out, I don't know where he spied the information from, but he was mentioning one of the most potential candidates for Indonesia's next president. So I thank you for that. I admire your espionage knowledge. Espionage knowledge to have known where the Indonesian politics is going, heading for. But I think I can say maybe you guessed it right. So that's the direction we're going. For my colleagues from the press, what you need actually is not this kind of talk, but you need headlines. So whatever you want to be headlines, we are here to answer you in economic terms, political, diplomacy, relations, everything. Overall, I can say what Mr. Guzman was pointing out. Because we are so close neighbors that we tend to take for granted our huge potentials that we don't know. We don't know many of each other's potential. I was at the dinner table with a number of congressmen yesterday, and he was surprised to know the potentials of Indonesia, economic potentials for cooperation with Indonesia. And I was surprised to know the potentials here in the Philippines. That's why Mr. Guzman was pointing out, we tend to overlook the big opportunities right next door, and we tend to look too far away, gamble with uncertainties, and ending up in losses where we have so much to tap together. You know, Mr. Guzman was pointing out but a few examples of the areas in which we can cooperate. Oil palm plantation, coal mining, whatever, trading, even infrastructure. Even I was talking with, we were talking with a group of Muslim leaders from Mindanao, and they were saying, oh, they needed halal food. You know, they don't even have halal food there, enough halal food. Yeah, for the approximately 20 million or so Islamic population in the entire land of the Philippines. So I said, well, why didn't you tell me early enough? And he said, no, only now we know that you're coming. So it's very ironic to know that we are so close and we don't actually recognize each other quite well. We don't know each other's potentials. In Indonesia, what I can say is that government authority has been decentralized right down to regencies, mayoralties, municipalities. So much of the decision-making process is done by regional leaders. You don't need to go through a long road of red tapes and bureaucracy. You can just go straight to the local governors, mayors, and make decisions and do business transactions. A lot. And Indonesia, we have 34 provinces and 538 regencies and municipalities. And mostly in bilateral economic transactions, people talk only about big players. People forget the middle level players, but actually if you look at the economic pyramid, the higher the level, the smaller the players, number of players. The lower down the level, the bigger the number of players. When you deal with manufactured products, food products, clothing and so forth, you don't deal with big players, you're dealing with middle level. And the players are so many, and they don't know that there are so many potentials in the Philippines that they can actually tap. I think the same situation happens here. You don't know that we have a demand there and you have supply here, or the other way around. So this is why Mr. Guzman comes here to address the business forum 2 days ago, and to explain the what is it? the gist of the matter, the crux of the what is it, the cream of the matter is that we need to explore each other's potentials more widely and deeply. And that is why, with the help of the mass media here, we hope that you can tell the business community in the Philippines of the potentials of wider and even more elevated cooperation between our two countries. I think that's my introduction. Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pitan Daslani. I read you were saying about coal. I think your country is the #1 largest coal exporter in the world, and also the Philippines import most of our coal from Indonesia. And Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is expert in energy, the energy expert in the Senate, in the Philippine Senate. So, are you looking at more cooperation, Indonesia and Philippines in energy? You also export oil. We import a lot of our oil. Yes, Senator.
It's true that we import close to about 99% of our coal from Indonesia.
Wow.
That's why when Indonesia will stop exporting coal to the Philippines, just like what happened, I think, early part of last year, half of our country will go brown out.
Yes.
No? Because half of our capacity comes from coal. No? So we owe Indonesia a lot in terms of energy security, and it's a resource that is very important to us. That's why we thank our Indonesian friends for continuously supporting our requirement for coal. But we have other aspects that we can explore together other than coal. No? Number one is geothermal. No? The Philippines is the
yes.
second biggest producer of geothermal, and it's something that we have been producing for a very, very long time, and we can claim that we have adequate knowledge in terms of geothermal exploration and geothermal use. Number two is renewable energy. No? The Philippines is quite active in the renewable energy sector. And we are pushing very hard to increase our renewable energy use, both from solar and wind, and also from hydropower plants. I say this because I can see a lot of similarities with Indonesia and the Philippines in terms of energy. And both countries would want to use its renewable energy as the main source of energy at one point in the future. So I think an area for cooperation is to share technologies, share laws, share regulations and policies in terms of renewable energy. I think we can share our experiences in terms of bottlenecks. The Philippines has recently allowed 100% ownership of solar and wind. This is quite new. This is just 2 months ago. And this is important to us because we want to attract foreign capital to the Philippines. I agree with Mr. Pitan. Actually, if you look at the top 10 trading partners of the Philippines, Indonesia is not one of them. No? So that means it's sad because Indonesia is only 2.5 hours, 3 hours away from Manila. Jakarta is about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. But in terms of trading, it's very far from our list. And if you look at our ASEAN partners here in the region, none of the top 10 are part of the top trading. None of the 10 are part of the top 10 trading partners of the Philippines. You're correct, no? That we have much to improve. Even though we're brothers and sisters, we know that in the ASEAN region, there are a lot of similarities in terms of race, even in terms of language. Some of our words are from Indonesia and from Malay. But in terms of cooperation, trading, education, cultural exchanges, we have much to do. And I think we have to tap the business sector. To be honest about it, the government can only do so much, but I truly believe that the business sector is the right group to tap in order to improve trading and improve exchanges. So it's good that Mr. Ehrman is here. He's both a businessman and both a politician. So you see both sides. And I'm also a businessman. I come from a business family, Mr. Ehrman. And that's why my view on improving relations is always tap the business sector, because they have interest, in improving the relations. And I think the next move should be how to put business groups together, how to link business groups together from Indonesia and from the Philippines, and develop and cultivate trading relationships so that this will be more sustainable, more profitable, and more meaningful for both countries.
Thank you, Senator Win Gatchalian. The speakers here. Senator Win, some journalists are asking, how would you assess our newly elected president as a leader? And somebody asked also, Mr. Guzman and Mr. Daslani, can you assess your famous president, Jokowi? How is he as a leader, and how he has balanced Indonesia's good relations with all the big superpowers? You are close to US, you are close to China, you are also close to Putin of Russia. He even went all the way to Russia to visit Putin. How did he balance all this? At Senate, yes, then later on, Senator. And also, Mr. Guzman, somebody also mentioned that this week, the first high-speed rail train project in Southeast Asia is about to be test run in your country, the first high-speed train. Can you tell us what's happening in your country and about your leader, Jokowi? Why is he so famous and popular?
Thank you, Wilson. Let me try to answer, and then after that, I'll let my colleagues, Mr. Pitan, to add what I've done say to all the journalists. First of all, as an Indonesian, we are proud and then we are thankful to the President Marcos Jr., Mr. Bongbong. His first visit as a president last 2 months, or September, visited to his brother Joko Widodo in Indonesia. Which means this is to show, from my point of view, how important Indonesia, as a brother from the Filipinos' point of view. This is to show. That's why when he came to Jakarta, he got big coverage. Of course, what I just said, why don't we explore? There is so many opportunities that not explored yet, because we are too close maybe, sometimes if we are too close and we don't really appreciate much, right, Senator Win, and we go to other country. Actually, many similarity, actually, we can do complementary one another, Of course, we appreciate what democracy work in this country, That's why we Indonesian since 1998, we are the fourth or the third largest democracy in the world, Wilson, after India, USA, and Indonesia, the third largest democracy. It is not easy job, At the time, I became the member of parliament, I joined the movement of reformation. When during my time as a student leader back in 1979, during Suharto era, I cannot believe what's happened. In 1998, after I went to US, I did my graduate school for almost 3 years, where I learned, what is democracy about, Not through university, but through friends and watching the television and stay. Yeah, for 3 years back in 1986, the beginning of 86, end of 1988. Yes, I dream one day my country will become like Indonesia. Yeah, wherever you are, yeah, you can be same opportunity. Not only the one who are just close to the power, only just in New York. Yeah, this is what we introduce autonomy, decentralization that we enjoy it today. Yeah. This is what general thing that before I go into Joko Widodo. Joko Widodo is good friend of mine, of course. When I was the president of the Senate, he's still the mayor in the small city. Yeah, I'm the friend of his mentor, Megawati, and especially his late husband, Mr. Taufik Kemas, where we become the same hometown in West Sumatra. Yeah, before I don't know who is this guy. You know, it's just the mayor back in 2010 or what, you know. Yeah, but thanks for democracy, direct election began 2004, where the SBY first direct elected president, you know, maybe one of the largest turnout voters, close to 170 million, you know. And then don't forget, you know, for other countries, Indonesia is the largest archipelago, countries, where we have 17,000 islands. I don't know, Senator Win, how many islands do we have? Maybe 1/3 of us. We are almost three times island. But of course, many thousand islands still empty, you know. Yeah, we can still have opportunity to develop one. Yes, of course, SBY, I think, you know, he's high profile in the foreign policy, where I accompany him 2 times here in 2005. Who is the president at the time, 2005?
2005, Gloria Arroyo.
Arroyo, right?
President Gloria
Yeah.
Arroyo, maybe. I
Yeah,
think, yes.
Arroyo. And also the 2013, where, not Arroyo anymore, yeah?
Aquino.
Aquino,
Aquino,
yeah, the Ninoy, right? Ninoy. Yeah, at the time, Indonesia is, what do you call it? We just established our democracy. And then, if you see from the performance of SBY, I think he's on the right track. But of course, the phenomenal President Joko Widodo come, you know, in 2014, because of the way how he campaigns himself is very touched to the people, especially for the middle lower income, where it's very much popular. As you know that SBY is military, discipline, sharp, yeah. But Joko Widodo is represent the common people from kampung, you know. Kampung means village. Yeah, he represent the people who are not represent enough before. This is the other way around. That's what. Therefore, since Joko Widodo, you know, become the president, his policy more to give to the middle lower people and giving more opportunity to outside Java, even though it's Javanese. Yeah, the second one, yeah, he also successfully convinced the people of Indonesia, of course, through parliament, elites, that's in order to distribution of economic, you know, equality, not only in Java Island. He's very brave to move the capital city from Jakarta, outside Jakarta, to Kalimantan. You know, we call it the Nusantara, where is the in Samarinda. Hopefully by 2024, Agustus,
Yes.
where our independence, the government will move there.
Wow.
And that's from Kalimantan, from Nusantara, they call the city, to Manila maybe it's shorter. Yeah, maybe 2.5 hours, or maybe 2 hours, because Manila, Jakarta is about 3.5, 4 hours. And then maybe from Nusantara come to here, 2.5 hours. At the time, Senator Win can come frequently.
Yes.
Yeah, to see us over there. And this is, which means what? This is the symbolic, Wilson. It's not easy to move the new capital to other island. I'm not Japanese, where the largest population, Like me from Sumatra, my dream only, if I want to run again to my politics, just to be number 2. Because this is, Japanese is almost 60%. My ethnic, Minangkabau, only just 5%. Yeah. IKN, okay. This is where make him popular, and especially today is the presidency of G20. And then the way how he approached the policy is very humble. What do you call it? Man in action. He's the man in action, I can say. Maybe Pak SBY, I can say that he's a man of idea. Yeah. Maybe because of Mr. Joko Widodo has experience in the running the medium or small medium enterprises, especially in furniture. Yeah, this make him more creative and innovative. To see ASEAN, yeah, as what you just said, yeah, I think we have to getting closer one another in trading, investment, in other, because we enjoy the stability of this region for a couple of years, yeah, since maybe already 40 years, Mr. Pitan, yeah. Mr. Pitan can explain more, and we have to maintain it, yeah. I believe with 700 million population in ASEAN, where it's about $6 trillion GDP, I think this region is the 3rd largest GDP after China, US, and then the ASEAN. This is what I can see that we have to, what we can exploit more and more, especially what my brother Senator Win said. Yeah, how come that Indonesia-Filipinos bilateral trade not even put in the top 10 list? Yeah, hopefully when my visit here and Senator Win, you give your phone number, let us be the golden bridge, because you are experienced in business and also mine, yeah, and to the benefit to both of our countries and to both our people. Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Irman Guzman. Any of the media here could ask questions, or you could raise your hand. Some are asking questions via Zoom here. Yes, there's a question here, yes, from our guest here. He's from a radio, very famous radio station. Yes.
Good morning.
Radio Pilipinas.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
The inflation rate in the world is
Please
very
kindly
high.
introduce yourself
By the way,
to the guest. Yes.
Senator, I'm Michael Rogas from Radio Pilipinas. The inflation rate in the world is very high. How the Philippines and Indonesia should tie up to have a good inflation in two countries?
Very good question. In fact, if you look at the inflation rate, the last inflation rate, the inflation rate was pushed up by 3 items, power, food, and some agriculture like sugar. These 3 things push up inflation very high. So Indonesia is a very good source of our power. Like I said, coal is they're a major source of coal for the Philippines. And if we can get discounted coal, hopefully, constant coal supply, and prices of coal that is isolated from global prices, hopefully, through bilateral and through governmental trade, then we can lower down the prices of our electricity. In terms of food, Indonesia is also a big producer of food. We're also a big producer of food. For example, we export coconut, we export pineapple. So we can actually maximize our different produce. We can import, for example, maybe rice or sugar or maybe other produce from Indonesia to offset the prices of food in our country. It really happens, because food is susceptible to climate. And if we have typhoons, we can see prices of food go up. And we recently experienced a few typhoons. That's why food prices went up, such as galunggong. The prices of galunggong went up because of the typhoon. So, in other words, we can improve. Inflation is about pricing. If you lower down pricing, then inflation will go down. So, we can tap our Indonesian partners for cheap produce, for cheap food supply, so that we can bring down inflation cost.
Pita po ninyo ma-aproban. Actually, inaabot kayo ng hanggang alas 2 ng madaling araw para po sa pagtalakay ng budget. Sa tingin niyo po yung pagpasa ng budget natin, makakatulong ito para makarecover ang ating ekonomiya by next year? It's because of, ito nararanasan po nating very high inflation rate natin.
Sisimplihan ko lang yung sagot, para maintindihan ng lahat. We're scheduled to finish our debates by Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday. And after that, maybe another 2 weeks to get the budget approved. And in the budget, I'll just itemize very important components. Number one is we have also social safety nets. These are subsidies for fuel, subsidies for the poorest of the poor, and subsidies for electricity. The reason why we have this is because we are still projecting that by 2023, the Russian issue, the Russian-Ukraine issue will still be there. As long as that issue will be there, prices of crude oil will still be at around $90 per barrel. And as long as it's $90 per barrel, we will see our pricing here will hover around 70 pesos per liter to around 90 pesos per liter, more or less. So, in other words, we still need to give subsidies. And the subsidies is through targeted means. Meaning, doon sa mga nangangailangan, yun lang ang bibigyan natin. I am not amenable to remove excise tax. Because we will lose close to about 200 billion pesos in terms of revenue if we remove excise tax. So in lieu of that, we will just give targeted subsidies. That's built in already in the budget. At the same time, the budget of the Department of Health has also increased. So meaning we are improving our health capacity for next year. We need to continue to improve our health capacity. We don't know if a pandemic will hit after 5 years or another time, but it's important that we improve our health capacity, meaning more hospitals, more specialty services for our constituents. We fund also our universal health care, and we improve access to medicine and to healthcare. So these are the things that are included in the budget. In terms of economic recovery, the government is also maintaining its what they call now, hindi na BBB, BBM na, build better more. So if you look at the budget, the top two agencies that receive the biggest increase is number one, the Department of Education, that is building human capital, and number two, the Department of Transportation. And I saw in the budget of Department of Transportation that we will build more rail system. Jakarta, that's another avenue to cooperate, because we're, to be honest, Mr. Irman, we're not in terms of rail, we're not very advanced. No? But starting last administration, we started to put more investment in rail system. So this administration will continue to invest in the rail system. And then the third one that will receive a big increase in terms of budget is infrastructure. So we will build more roads, more bridges, repair more of the roads that were damaged. So again, no, the growth will come in fiscal spending, meaning government will spend more in human capital, that's education, in transportation, that's rail, in infrastructure, that's roads and bridges. No? So I'll give an example. In the next few years, we will see the Guimaras, Iloilo, Negros,
Panay.
Cebu, no? In interconnection. No? That's already in the works. They already ground broke the Davao-Samal bridge. That's already in the works. So marami tayong makikitang ganitong major bridge program that this administration, the Marcos administration, will continue and build more.
Sir, last question. Kasi nung panahon ni dating Pangulong Gloria Arroyo, ganito rin yung sitwasyon ng Pilipinas. So talagang gumastos ang gobyerno para ho sa gayon, kahit papaano dumami po yung trabaho. The question now, meron pa bang mapagkukunan ng pondo ang ating gobyerno, considering na napakarami po yung ating program na nakapaloob ng po sa annual budget for next year? Saan po ninyo nakikita na pwede tayong kumuha ng malaking panggastos? Uutang na naman po ba ang Pilipinas? Paano po ang inyong assessment dito, Senator? Thank you.
Ganda ng mga tanong mo, ha? That's, you hit on point. Kaya ako chairman, I'm the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. No? Ang trabaho ng chairman ng Ways and Means Committee, maghanap ng pondo. No? That's the simple, ano. So we're looking at, we're not raising taxes, no? But we're looking at other avenues to collect revenue. No? For example, yung digital services. No? Pag nag-advertise, if you advertise in YouTube, you buy goods in Amazon, walang binabayarang tax. Pag bumili ka sa SM, may VAT. If you buy goods in the supermarket, may VAT. If you buy Pandesal here in Kamuning, may VAT. But if you buy Pandesal in Amazon, walang VAT. So in other words, it's unfair for our local industries because our local industries pay taxes, income taxes, and VAT. But digital services, no, dahil bago sila, because it's new, they don't pay anything. So that's one avenue that we're looking at to improve tax collection. The other one is we are improving tax administration also. We're making it very simple for micro and small businesses to pay taxes. Ngayon kasi, it's very difficult, no, to pay taxes for MSME. So we're making it simple. By making it simple, we're expecting more MSMEs to pay their taxes on time and to pay their taxes correctly. So that's number one. In terms of loan, no, that's a very good question. The government will embark on reducing its loan to GDP ratio. Right now kasi, before, we were hovering at around 30%. Now, we're around 60%. No? So, in the next 5 years, they plan to bring it down to about maybe 40%, 50% level. But we will not raise taxes. What we will do is we will grow our economy. And the way to grow our economy is to invite foreign investors to come in. This is where friends will come in from different parts of the globe. No? So, so in the short term, no, just to answer your question directly, in the short term, yes, we will borrow, but in the medium term, we will reduce our borrowing by growing our economy. So that's the strategy, in simple terms. In simple terms.
Thank you, sir.
From ABS-CBN, watching via Zoom and Facebook, Ms. Kat Domingo of ABS-CBN, follow up to Senator Win Gatchalian. Can Senator Win further elaborate his statement na Philippines will not buy Russian oil? Yes.
Let me just qualify. No? As far as my knowledge is concerned, the Philippines has no plans of buying Russian oil. And as far as my knowledge is concerned, there is no standing offer, no, from Russia to that effect. No? So, That is based on my knowledge and based on my knowledge covering the energy sector.
Follow up? Yes. Thank you for the your suggestions are very brilliant. Additional revenues and helping the local media companies have a level playing field with the international media giants, social media. Yes, they are grabbing a big pie, a big slice of the pie, including Facebook and all those. We have time for closing statements from our distinguished guests because they have a flight this afternoon. They are returning to Indonesia. So maybe we'd like to begin with our Indonesian guests and end with the senator. First, maybe with the Mr. Pitan Daslani first. Anything you'd like to say about Philippines-Indonesia relations and what your country is hosting also, the G20, starting tomorrow. It's the 20 biggest economies, I think, in the world. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to emphasize the more important than that question, I think, is the need for the Philippine public to know what's going on in this room. So friends from the press, my colleagues, please tell the public that we are so close to each other, so close that we don't even know each other's potentials. To tap in order not to rely too much on supplies from abroad. Inflation, imports and all these kind of things, sometimes we go against our own strength. So what we need to do now is to tap maximally each other's potential, which is cheaper, than gamble with uncertainties outside our own immediate surrounding. That's I think my message. And if this be our resolve going forward, because the world of today is determined by three things. One, interconnectivity. Two, interdependence among nations. And three, complementarity. We don't even recognize each other's complementarity, So the duty of the press is to announce for legislators, for government, for business actors, for everybody to know that we have an abundance of potentials yet to be tapped. Mr. Wilson put it, I think, precisely. We need to recognize each other and not just talk, but do something concrete for our own people. And I think it's the responsibility of the press to push this as our permanent agenda going forward until there comes a time when we don't need so much dependence on foreign supplies because we have our own domestic strengths. Can become a nation of production instead of nation of consuming things from abroad where we have an abundance of the same material at home. That's my first message. And if this be our new normal of the press, bilaterally, I think looking ahead, the relations between the Philippines and Indonesia will not just grow, but will bloom. Will bloom to benefit society, benefit business actors, and so forth. That's my, I think that is what we need to announce to the public, not just in the Philippines, but also in Indonesia. So I'd rather talk to my colleagues in the mass media. That's our duty. Let's do it together.
Also, earlier you mentioned non-aligned movement. We should be reminded of your example. Next, we'd like to invite closing statement, Mr. Irman Guzman. Also, advance congratulations for your election. I heard 2 years from now. I heard you are going back to politics as a senator. I heard you are very popular there.
Thank you, Wilson. In addition, what Mr. Pitan just said, how to increase the relationship between Indonesia and Filipinos, especially Senator Win, what my experience, what my knowledge know, how we do it with Singapore and Malaysia, yeah, which I don't think we do it with Philippines. I don't know what the reason, because I'm not expert in the foreign relationship issues so much, but from my experience, you know, it's a couple of years in the parliament. In Malaysia or in Singapore, between two leaders, we meet every year. Okay? Maybe this year in Jakarta, or maybe in my hometown, West Sumatra, maybe in Bali, whatever, we do it in the region in order to give opportunity for the other region. Next year, we do it in maybe in other state in Malaysia, in Johor, in Kuala Lumpur, whatsoever. But not Singapore. Singapore, you know, we do it in Batam, in Singapore. In addition to that, you know, so many potential, what I see it, you know, for 4 days here, but we not address yet. Yeah, maybe through Senator Win can inform to President Marcos, why don't Indonesia and Filipinos have the annually meeting, yeah, between the leaders, yeah, bring the issue every year, and every year, and then what is not yet solved the problem, and we do it the next year. I think this is can improve, yeah. Easily I see when I met the brother from Bram, right, in Mindanao, what they said, they are interested to develop agriculture. What kind of agriculture are you looking for? How big your land? You know, empty land. They said million of hectare. Easily, I said, you know, because the world still need oil palm, because oil palm not just for the people, but also for biofuel and also renewable energy. Yeah, we still need it. Of course, we have together to face the NGO. Yeah, the most important thing, the way how we do it correctly, I think there is, I don't think so there is problem. This is what I see, okay? I will inform also to authority in Jakarta. That's, you know, so many. And second one in geothermal. Now maybe we have already 4,000, almost close 5,000 megawatt geothermal. But as far as I know, this technology come from the US or France. Why don't we do it with the brother here from Philippines, where we have to achieve our target, you know, to have the energy diversification. Now still we are depending on the fuel, yeah, or coal. Almost 60% our energy consumed for energy is still, because we are the largest producer oil, you know, because since we are committed for the climate change, Wilson, yeah, maybe we can learn, yeah. And of course, yeah, through Senator Win, let us more details, you know, we do it some concrete, because businessmen normally men in action, yeah. The company here, what is the company in Jakarta? I have 1 or 2 company, yeah. One of companies still belong to my relative, yeah, who are do in the power plant, but probably geothermal or the other renewable energy that I don't address yet, I think is good. Second one is how to what do you call it, accelerated the people-to-people contact, Wilson. Do you know, Jakarta or Indonesia is maybe 70% of the tourists in Singapore come from Jakarta. I think so, maybe it's 12 million. The Singapore citizenship only just 5 million. Yeah. What is the reason they come to Singapore from Indonesia? Yeah, so many reasons. Health, concern, business, and the third one is entertainment. You know, since casino operation in Singapore for the last 10 years, the number of tourists come from Indonesia to Jakarta is abundant, because we in Indonesia not allowed to have casino entertainment in, But when I went here, when I saw here in Jakarta, everywhere you go to casino, in Manila, right? Why don't you promote that? I stay now in Hilton. I feel like I'm in what we call it, in Las Vegas. Yeah? I think if you promote well, and the number of Philippine Airline or Garuda or Air Asia, you promote what I see, I think will be increased the number of tourism come to Manila. This is very simple. Yeah? The more people come here, The second one, education. I believe the level of Filipinos' education, I have to recognize that even better than my country, especially in eastern part of Indonesia, where now our government give more attention. Why don't my brother in Papua, in Sulawesi, instead of they go to Jakarta, come to Philippines? Maybe the living standard is not more expensive than Jakarta. I think what you just said is how the tourism industry will be will boost, because Indonesia per year, because of the enjoy with the living standard is high, maybe 30 to 40 million Indonesia travel abroad. The highest number go to Singapore, and other region, and so on and so on. And then cultural and education, I think we have to promote this, This is my tips or my advice, Hopefully with Senator Win, we can go more details to execute one or two that is for to show it how potential between two brothers countries, Indonesia and Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Forgot to read from Business World. There are questions for Senator Win and our Indonesian guest from Ms. Ali Tan of Business World. She asks, is Indonesia interested in importing any Philippine goods or products? Are there already negotiations for this? And what sectors of the Philippine economy will Indonesian investors be interested in? And also, can the Philippines take advantage of these possible Indonesia investors in the Philippines? And her last question, has our Indonesian guest already reached out to Philippine businesses? I think this one, earlier they mentioned they had a lunch meeting with the leaders of Federation of Filipino Chinese Chambers of Commerce. What about the other questions to our Indonesian guests? And then last, for Senator Win, the bill on the digital commerce. Is it the bill that they mentioned? That's for Senator. Yes. What are the products of the Philippines that Indonesia might be interested to import? And yes, and what areas of Philippine economy good for Indonesian investors? You already own Smart, I think, actually, and PLDT in the Philippines.
Thank you. Wilson, maybe I don't catch up 100% what the question is, but I try to answer. If it is not yet satisfied, just let me know, because I really want to be part, in this, how to elevate it, the relationship between both countries, as what I said. Of course, I plan to go to Mindanao, sometime next year, to see what potential can we do it. Of course, in the area of plantation, which we very understand. The second one, of course, in infrastructure. Since Indonesia has experience to build the new road, through private to private, IPP whatsoever, and using the international financing, especially from Middle East. Islamic financing is not only for the Muslim, because the system is different. They don't use interest. They just do it we call it bagi hasil. How do you say it, bagi hasil? Profit sharing. Yeah, do you know the scheme, right?
So no interest.
There is no interest. Yeah, because interest is, they call it riba, haram, not allowed. I think it's good, If we make money, we set the profit. If we lose money, we don't buy anything. This is actually the reason. Why we are interested in infrastructure, especially in highway and so on, because the capacity of our Indonesian company, that's why, as what Wilson said before, maybe we are going to, maybe today or tomorrow, right? We are already start the new speed railway. Yeah,
High speed
railway. Yeah, maybe we are the first one in
Southeast Asia.
South Asia. Yeah, this high speed railway, from Jakarta to Bandung, where Bandung is very well known for non-alignment movement foundation established. Normally, if you go by what we call it, by car, it takes 3 to 4 hours. If you go by plane, it takes 30 minutes. But next time, if you go by high-speed railway, only 40 minutes. Actually, we can do 30 minutes, but there is to stop. Yeah, 5 minutes, okay? And what happens since we built this one, the multiplier effect, the property and so on is becoming, increase the price. That's why, and then almost 90% the skill come from Indonesia, yeah. Only just the main component whatsoever. Of course, my also suggestion to my Senator Win. Beside the bilateral meeting every year, my advice, my suggestion, also follow up by, normally, during the meeting, they bring the Chamber of Commerce, yeah, to join in, and also some governors, yeah, who are very potential to develop this. Let's say, for example, now Philippines need coal mining, yeah. Maybe you can ask our president to bring the governor of East Kalimantan, South Kalimantan, and Central Kalimantan, because 80% of coal producer come from that region. Because since we are autonomy, they also have some authority. Senator Win, that's we can do. Yeah, among the other one. Yeah, I think. Yeah, of course. First one, trading must be must be increased. What kind of trading? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, investment. Yeah, I think, in Indonesia, the largest investor come from Singapore. I can guarantee you 80% of Singapore investor, actually they are Indonesian company, because I know some of them. Okay? Why they put in Singapore? Yes, businessmen. Where's the money can make better? Because if you put US dollar in Jakarta, the interest rate only just 0.5% or 1%. If you put Singapore, they give you 2.5 and 3%. This is this simple. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, 80% of Singapore investor actually from the businessmen in Indonesia. Okay, which means why don't also Philippines we explore more? I know Anthony Salim is present here. Yeah, but there is so many Anthony Salim now in Indonesia. Yeah, not only Anthony Salim, even Anthony Salim not the big 5 richest in Indonesia today, because already passed with the Hartono Group, BCA Group, so many others. Yeah, especially since the coal mining tycoon I think, we have to have the trade and investment mission, Senator Win. Yeah, we are trying to inform this to the Chamber of Commerce, where is also my friend. Yeah, and then set up like what we call a team. Yeah, what is good here, and then what you can do that. I think this is the way how we do it in today, how to run the country. I think my answer is correct, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. The closing statement now for Senator Win Gatchalian, but before that, there's a question from Ms. Ali Tan of Business World Newspaper. Yes.
Thank you, Wilson, for again the invitation. Just to answer Ali's question, yes, what I was talking about, digital services tax, is exactly the same or almost the same as the ones filed already in Congress, no? Both in the lower house and the upper house, in one form or the other. So as a closing statement, Wilson, thank you very much for the invitation. And again, welcome to Mr. Earman, to Mr. Pitan. It's really an honor to have met you. And I've heard all your statements regarding how to move forward between two countries. We have so much work to do. And there's so much potential that we can tap. And I think our president has already set the tone in terms of building relationship with friends here in ASEAN, and us in the government sector as well as in the private sector should already take advantage of the open doors that our leaders provided. And I do agree that a way forward is to start some form of bilateral relationship group, no, or a friendship group for that matter, to continue to cultivate the relationship, and hopefully it will blossom to more trade, to more investments, to more to tourism, to more know-how. No? You know, one of the favorite destination of Filipinos is Bali. No? In fact, we have a direct flight to Bali. Unfortunately, Manila to Bali is always full. Bali to Manila is empty. You know, so
Very good observation.
very few Indonesians come to Manila. So you have to, you have to help us fill that plane back, no? Because a lot of our countrymen go there, but very few Indonesians come here. So
Very good observation.
no,
Even our celebrities, a lot of them go.
yeah. So my point there is there's so much potential, no, that we can build, and I'm happy that we have friends and brothers who are sincerely interested in cultivating this relationship. So with that, we can start off. Actually, Mr. Irman, with your permission, to start that relationship, we should put up a Kamuning Bakery in Jakarta.
Very brilliant. Good idea.
And we can send Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
no, to have maybe with Mr. Pitan, maybe have a...
Yes.
We call
Yes.
this kapihan.
Yes.
Coffee. I don't know in Indonesia, what do you call it?
Uh,
Kapihan in Tagalog,
media
meaning
forum.
drinking coffee.
Drinking coffee. Yes.
I don't know how do you drink
You drink coffee with your bread?
Yeah, so we call this event kapihan because we drink coffee and then we interact.
Yes.
Yes,
it's
we
talk
call
in
it
media.
ngopi.
Ngopi, so
Ngopi.
almost the same.
Yeah, ngopi, right?
So again, thank you.
A lot of brilliant ideas from
Wilson-
Senator Sherwin
Wilson,
Gatchalian.
before you end,
Thank you.
because he was tempting me to speak, the senator. So I have to say, why is it that the flight from Manila to Denpasar is always
Yes.
full,
Yes, why?
and from Denpasar to Manila is always empty?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, why?
Why is it? Actually, I have to ask that question to you, not you ask the question to me, because you have to make yourself known to people in Indonesia. You don't advertise yourself enough. So it's your duty to tell your
You're
government,
correct. Huh?
to tell your tourism agency, to tell your travel bureaus, promote your potentials in
To ASEAN
Indonesia,
neighbors,
you know,
Indonesia.
because we don't know where to visit. So you tell us where to come. That's number one. Number two, actually, the Philippines is not alien to Indonesians. No, at all. You know, do you know that Manny Pacquiao is more popular than your investment potentials?
Ah, wow. your
in
friend
Indonesia.
in the Senate. Yes.
Which means what you need is promoting yourself to our society. You know?
Yes, and a personal friend of the senator also.
So now
Yes.
we are going home, leaving you this homework.
Yes, yes. Pandesal is the national bread of everyone. Most people eat this for breakfast, dinner. Yes. Yes. And by the way, since Philippines is majority Christian, in the Bible it says when you have enemy, you throw bread at them. In the Bible, instead of rock. Yes. Thank you once again, and welcome to the Philippines. Yes.